only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer! Hello, and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters, where we're going to bring you the news and reviews of some wonderful brews. My name is Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and of course the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
We have arrived. We are in...
It took us long enough. Huh?
I know, yeah. We're finally here, guys.
You're so far from home, too.
We are
Yeah.
so far from home. Not quite the 3-minute drive it was when we were at Brewery Arse, but still pretty close. We're in, I guess this is officially Fishtown area,
This is
right?
definitely
Is
Fishtown,
Is this
yeah.
Fishtown?
No.
No!
Oh.
What neighborhood does this fall
So
under?
this is Northern Liberties.
Oh my God! How
It's
dare
okay.
I?
It's okay. It's very close to Fishtown.
I am so sorry if I've offended anyone. We are not in Fishtown.
But we are just blocks from the Fishtown mural. So.
Yes. So we're close. But we are at a wonderful little location in Northern Liberties, a place called Homebrewed Events, and I'm very excited to be here. We have with us.
Hey, Meredith Williams.
Hi, Meredith Williams. Thank you for coming to the show and having us out here.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here. We are going to be brewing a beer
Yeah.
in this cool spot.
I've already done a little bit of work on that.
A little bit, yeah.
My God, I'm ahead of you guys. You guys got to catch up.
We're multitasking.
I took
Get your
pictures.
act together. You did. There's proof of it.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've ever brewed a beer while doing a podcast,
Yeah.
right?
At the same time, I
Yeah.
think so.
Because we've
yeah.
brewed beers and done videos, but
Yep. This entire week, I was thinking of the logistics of how it would work with recording, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
Meredith,
I mean, to
Meredith
be-
is making it really easy for us.
That's true. And also, to be fair, like we're brewing like a homebrew style beer. We're not brewing like
Right,
on a
not-
commercial
yeah,
system, like in
exactly.
the background
Hey,
or anything.
as you know, that still takes a lot of work.
Oh, it does. It does.
Yes.
But it's like right over there, and it's not very big, so it's easy.
Exactly.
So listeners of Beer Busters may remember and recognize Meredith's voice. She was on when we recorded at St. Ben last time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is
so
not far from where we are also.
Exactly.
I am a professional brewer at St. Benjamin, and then I also do homebrewed events. So brew homebrew style and then professionally.
She has a full plate of brewing.
Lots of beer stuff and lots of cool beer credentials in the notes. So, well, I'm sure we'll get into. I was actually curious though. When Dan said at the top of the show, we are at the Alchemist Society. So,
Yes.
what is the
Yes.
relationship between the Alchemist Society and Homebrewed Events?
So Alchemist Society is the actual space. So
Okay.
we are in the Alchemist Society. So this is where we host the classes. However, Homebrewed Events is my company that's been around for over 5 years. So we do beer classes all around Philly. But right now we call Alchemist Society our home.
Cool.
We do classes, we do pairings, brewing classes, all sorts of cool things.
Yes. And we'll get into more of that in detail, but we do have a sipping beer.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
We are drinking one of my favorite beer styles, a fine Helles Lager from Fine Creek Brewing. I didn't do
How
that on
about that?
purpose. I did not, I promise. And they are just outside of Richmond, Virginia. So shout out to Fine Creek and to, of course, the one and only That's No Baloney, Joe Mansell, for getting us some crowlers from this great establishment. I was lucky enough to go down and visit Joe again, but it was on a Wednesday, and this brewery is not open on a Wednesday, unfortunately, but they were kind enough to send some crowlers our way to check out, and so far, it's quite tasty.
It was the most amazing thing in my life.
I was going to say exactly that.
Wow.
It is a delicious beer.
Good way to start.
Yes, nice and crisp and light and refreshing. And, of course, don't forget, you out there in podcast land, you can be part of the shenanigans that happen at Beer Busters through the wonder that would be the interwebs. If you happen to go on the Twitter or the Instagram, you can find us. We are at Beer Busters. On the Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. And there is that phone number, 805-991-BEER, which is 805-991-2337.
Hey, this is Steven. You've reached 1-800-BEER for you. If you would like a sexy Pilsner, press 1.
Steven, who the hell are you talking to?
Honey, hold on.
Steven, get off the goddamn phone. I know you're talking to him again.
If you would like a
Steven, get off the phone. I know you're
super
talking to him again.
steamy
God damn
Colt,
it.
press
Hold
2.
your floor. Don't
If
talk-
you like a big boy stout, press 3.
Stop talking like that.
All right.
Steven, stop talking.
So that was on the voicemail. So, yeah, we do actually listen to the messages now. So, again,
That
that's-
was interesting.
yeah. Not exactly what I had in mind when I set up the phone number, but, hey, I'll take it, whatever.
I like how they called us, and the guy said, "You've reached 1-800-BEER," or whatever the hell he used
Right,
to say.
right.
But you called me, bro.
It's like you call somebody and you put them on hold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, 805-991 beer, 805-991-2337, which does take us to
Patreon.com/beerbusters.
In the news, coming up, GABF. We all know it. We all love it. Some of us may have been there. Others may not have been there. I'm in the not category. But when it does return to Denver, Colorado this fall, there's going to be a new pavilion. The Jameson Caskmates Barrel-Aged Beer Garden.
Well, you're definitely going to go this year, right?
God, I wish.
That's
I wish.
right up your alley. That's your pavilion.
Oh, yeah. The Jameson Caskmates series was created by the Irish Distillery a few years ago, inspired by various craft brewers aging their beers in Jameson whiskey barrels. The distillery started a new ale-finished whiskey program. The Caskmates series is now home to both a stout and an IPA finished whiskeys. So the Brewers Association, they have announced the addition of the Jameson Caskmates Barrel-Aged Beer Garden to GABF this fall. The garden will feature 17 different Jameson craft brewery partners that have aged beers in Jameson barrels, and some of the breweries include Eighth Wonder, Bale Breaker, Big Dogs Brewing Company, Black Abbey, Captain Lawrence, Cigar City, DC Brow, Fatheads, Foolproof, Fulton, Great Divide, Green Flash, Harpoon, Heavy Seas, Parish, Revolution, and River Horse Brewing.
Green Flash, huh?
Yes. Wow. I find that part very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the Brewers Association, this one makes me so happy, mentions the sales of barrel-aged beers have increased 20% over the last 3 years. I'm not alone anymore. I'm not alone.
Millennials aren't that bad anyway.
Just
after
from
all.
you.
It's probably just from you.
No, I'm still relatively poor. I can't afford that many of them.
That's true.
The Jameson Caskmates Barrel-Aged Beer Garden will take up 12,600 square feet of the 100,000 square foot addition to the festival in 2018, and tickets go on sale August 1st.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, I agree. This one I really like. We were actually sent a message about this, but a long time ago I did an article about musical beers, bands that have done beer collaborations, and there have been so many, and it just keeps growing.
Is this the Ace of Spades?
Motorhead, Cameron's Brewing, and Global have announced that their beer Road Crew is officially coming to the U.S.
Does it have an umlaut?
It does have an umlaut.
And it's going to be brewed by Arcadia Brewing Company of Kalamazoo, Michigan. The American IPA will sit around 6.2% ABV, a crushable hop-forward IPA with added...
I feel like a Motorhead beer should not be crushable. I feel like it should be aged in a
I
Jameson
feel like an
barrel.
Iron Maiden beer should not have a subtle hint of lemon.
It showcases the floral and citrusy hop character. Road Crew beer is perfect for all rock beer and hopheads and goes down especially well while listening to Motorhead at a wonderfully obscene lawn-killing volume. Road Crew will be available in bottles, cans, keg, and even cask. Arcadia Brewing was founded in 1996 by Tim Surprise and is located on the riverfront in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Sounds like a dessert. Tim Surprise. I'll have the Tim Surprise, please.
Yes, they're highly regarded in the craft beer community, and it's the original home to Gibson Guitars for more than 80 years, as well as Heritage Guitars and Kalamazoo Guitar Company. We began our trek into the craft beer world 22 years ago, and we were inspired by world-class British-inspired beers, and becoming a partner with British icons Motorhead, Cameron's, and Global Merchandising to bring Road Crew to fans of great beer and heavy metal here in the U.S. Has our volume dial pegged to the max, he said. It's going to be available all across the board. I can't wait to try it. We were lucky enough to talk to some people involved in the project.
So Wayne and I are here. We have a rare phone interview that we're lucky enough to do.
These are always fun. We haven't done many of them.
Yeah, it's like our fourth one that we've done. The first one was an accident, so it's always fun to see how these turn out. But as we previously had mentioned, Motorhead is getting a beer in the U.S. It existed overseas, but now it's finally coming to the States, and I'm very, very happy to have joining us by phone Stefan, who is the Director of Sales for Arcadia Brewing Company, who's going to be handling all the brewing of the U.S. version. Stefan, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Great, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, no, thank you for having me on the show. I'm excited to do this.
We're excited to have you. It's very rare that we get to do something like this. So I guess I have to start off by asking, who approached who for the project? Did Arcadia talk to Motorhead? Did Motorhead talk to Arcadia? How did this get started?
I'll give you a little bit of background just so to understand everything. So Arcadia Brewing Company started in Battle Creek, Michigan in 1996. We are an English-inspired American brewed brewery, and we still have a lot of English roots. Our founder and CEO, Tim Surprise, has spent quite a bit of time over in the UK, both brewing beer, doing beer festivals, all sorts of stuff like that. And we work with a distributor or an importer / distributor there that got us in touch with the global merchandising team who does all of the merchandising for the band Motorhead. So between our British inspiration as well as our connections to the UK, we essentially found each other. So it wasn't one or the other.
Okay, that's cool. Now, of all the British bands that are out there, why specifically Motorhead?
Well, Cameron's Brewery started brewing the Motorhead Road Crew in the UK, and it was an American-inspired pale ale. So the groundwork was already laid with this brand per se. And, you know, we just are kind of following in their footsteps, doing the U.S. and Canadian version. And Motorhead, you know, I'm 32 years old, so a little before my time. But the more and more that I listen to the band and spend time researching and talking with fans and everybody alike, I think we're the perfect brewery to do this beer because we love to have fun and we like beer, and it seems like Motorhead likes the same thing.
Yeah, I saw a couple quotes from the band about how, you know, they love beer, and they were saying about how they're also excited that Arcadia is handling this. So is the beer? So you said it was originally from Cameron's, an American-style pale ale, but we're doing an American IPA in the States, right?
Exactly. Yes, we are doing an American IPA. As everybody knows, IPAs are still one of the top categories in the beer world. We also kind of wanted to take a little step back and put together a beer that, one, is crushable, and two, will appeal to the masses. And we think we did a great job on this. This isn't an overly hoppy IPA. It's got a great aroma. It's a very, very good beer, but it's an approachable beer in that respect as well.
Yeah, so it's clocking in at what, 6.2%, right?
Yep, 6.2%, about 55 to 60 IBUs. So still, you know, very much an IPA, has a very nice bitterness to it, but nothing that really, like, you know, prolongs for too long. It's a very crushable and easy drinking IPA in that regard.
That's pretty cool. I saw it's obviously going to be distributed in bottles and kegs and all that, but I also saw available in cask, which I think is pretty exciting, given the English inspiration behind just the brewery and obviously the band as well.
Yeah, so we in this fall start looking for 16-ounce cans. Those will be for like music venues and outdoor activities, etc. So right now it's 12-ounce bottles, half barrels, 6 barrels, and cans to come along this fall.
Cool. If you're doing that for music venues, Philly is a fantastic city for music. And I know before we started recording, you were saying that Arcadia is distributing to Pittsburgh as of this week from recording, but Philly's not too far away, right?
No, it isn't.
Yes.
And how you can help us, if you want to see this beer, go into your local beer store and say, hey, I want to try the Motorhead Road Crew beer, and that only helps us get it to you easier.
That's cool. I've heard some people at breweries say that before, and I didn't know that it actually worked. I kind of thought it was one of those things. It's like, call your senator and ask them to do this, and like, well, they had their mind made up anyway.
Hey, that might be a little different in that regard, but yeah, if you go in and there's enough people asking for it, at least those retailers know that it's now available and that they can get it, and that only just helps lay the groundwork. Of course, we're going to have to be doing everything, establishing distribution networks, but this is a national brand, and we're realizing that really quickly because people from all across the country are looking for this beer, and we get hundreds of emails saying, "Hey, where can I get Motorhead Road Crew? I really want this beer. I'm excited for it."
Yeah.
And, you know, unfortunately right now it's just in the Great Lakes region and in Pittsburgh. We're doing a big event tomorrow in Chicago at the Liars Club. So it's getting out there, and this is the first week of full distribution. So it's going to take a little time to really establish these networks. But, you know, we want to get the beer to the people that are looking for it. So you can help us by asking at least.
Yeah, that's cool. I might have to stop in at some distributors and ask them to make sure they can get it.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, I appreciate that.
And I think Philly is definitely, I mean, not only, as Dan mentioned, a great city for live music, but I think...
Also beer.
We might be a little biased, but probably the best beer drinking city in America, you know. So it is definitely a place you want to be.
Hey, and we want to be there.
Cool. I'm sure Philly would love to have you. And I wanted to ask you, too, I know you guys had a big event for the launch of the beer at the brewery, right?
Yes. So we had the launch party last Saturday right here at Arcadia Brewing Company on the beautiful Kalamazoo River. Had a great turnout. A lot of diehard Motorhead fans came in. This band, Kill Mister, who's out of Chicago, a Motorhead tribute band, they absolutely killed it. It was awesome. Everybody was pumped. Everybody was loving the beer. It was an absolute blast at the time. So we We had a lot of fun last weekend.
Was anybody from Motorhead there?
No. Well, the global merchandising team was here. Phil Campbell and Nikki D. They are currently on tour in Europe, so they were unable to make it. But the global merchandising guys here, who we've been working with hand in hand from the get-go, they were here. They were pumped. They had a blast.
Did you guys loop Camerons in on anything at all, besides like going from the Pale Ale to the American IPA?
No, we just that.
And I think I saw on the website, too, that Road Crew is going to be a year-round offering, right?
Yes, this is going to be available year-round.
That's beautiful. There's a brewery in Delaware, Dogfish Head. They do a lot of music beers, but none of them are year-round. They're pretty much like one-offs. So this is cool to see that this is going to keep going.
Exactly. We see what this can be, and the people want it, and the people are asking for it. So we're just going to be year-round availability from us.
Do you think this will spark any other music collabs between you guys and any other bands?
You know, and I really can't go too deep on that, but it might.
That's cool. Just hypothetically speaking, if there were any band out there that you personally would like to see a collab between, who would you want to do?
Dan wants you to say Weezer because that's his favorite.
I mean,
band.
I would be cool if you said Weezer, but at the same time, I just appreciate music.
You know what? From growing up and loving it, I'd like to do like a Green Day beer. Honestly.
Oh, yes, that'd be great.
The first thing that popped out in my mind.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
You could do it as, you could do like a year-round offering, but you could also kind of find a way to tie it in with like St. Patty's Day because of green.
Yeah, or we could do like a harvest beer when we're getting all our fresh hops, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Hops, Green Day, boom, there we go.
That makes way more sense and lets you do it year-round instead of mine. See, I have a very narrow mindset, apparently.
I like how this has just turned into a marketing meeting.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, I like it. That's where I strive, you know.
That's really cool. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting the beer soon, and I'll spread the word and try to get distributors to get it into Philly. Any other markets that you're looking to branch into?
I mean, we want to do the East Coast. People have been asking for it in Florida. The West Coast, of course, is a big target for us. Kind of filling the gaps from there. If you haven't followed us already, follow us at Motorhead Beer US on social media platforms. We got a lot of cool things going on. If you're a fan, we want you to follow us. Tell us where you'd like to see us. That helps us.
Cool. And is there social media for the brewery itself outside of just the Motorhead Beer?
Yeah, so Motorhead Beer is its own social media platform, but at Arcadia Ales is our social media tag for the brewery here in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Very cool. Well, we will definitely send people your way, and I will keep an eye out for the beer. I'm sure it's going to be amazing to have such an iconic band with a beer that's reaching, hopefully, to the East Coast in the near future, and just to see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to try it.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm excited for you guys to try it. You know, tag us on social media, and we'll share it all over. We love that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll do. Well, hey, Stefan, I would imagine you got a lot to do up in Kalamazoo, but thank you so much for taking time out to talk to me and Wayne.
Hey, thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great weekend. It's hot here in Michigan. I know it's probably just hot over there.
It's super hot here in Philly. Yeah,
it's pretty bad. We turned off the air conditioner to kill some background noise. I'm sweating already.
Hey, we'll turn it back on. Turn it up to 11, whatever you need to do.
Exactly,
and,
yeah.
Thank you guys so much for the time.
Oh, thank you, Stefan, man. Cheers. I'm looking forward to trying this. I would really like to write another article about musical beers. There have been so many other ones that have come out.
There's a million of them.
Oh, my God, yeah. There's so many of them. I even saw one, Def Leppard did one with Elysian.
Three Floyds does a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, the Deftones, I put on our website, Deftones has another one that's out with, I think Belching Beaver did theirs.
Okay.
Chamonix Creek locally works with the Menzingers.
Yeah. They're after the party.
That was such a good beer.
Yes.
We drank while watching the Menzingers at the Fillmore.
That was a great show. Yeah. Yeah, and I got a 6-pack of it to go when we were at Neshaminy. I don't think for the concert, but probably... No, I guess it was the concert. I took it home.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I had after the party of after the party.
Oh, my God.
There's a lot of partying
Bros,
involved.
knock it off.
Yeah, but there's so many that are out there, and I mean, please, if there's any that I don't know of or you find any you think I'd be interested in, Dan at beerbusterspodcast.com. Let me know.
Do it.
Or 805-991-BEER.
Yeah, do that too.
That is all I had in the world of news. That brings us to where we are now. So we are at the Alchemist Society, but here with Meredith from Homebrewed Events. I finally have the sequence right there. So you said you started Homebrew Events about 5 years ago, right?
Yes, indeed.
So what was what got you to start the business?
Yeah, it's a fun journey. So my husband and I, you guys interviewed him. He's Garrett Williams from Evil Genius. He's the general manager there. I think you guys love him. I think Dan loves him a little bit too much.
I do. I have a man crush on him. No matter what, he will always be the
Yeah,
sharpest.
it's kind of hard not to. Yeah.
He is a sharp dressed man, indeed. So some of our first dates were brewing beer together. I actually got him into beer, by the way.
Oh,
Nice.
I was into it, and he pretended to be into it, and then eventually became into it. So we would brew beer together, hang out, and talk, and it just turned into this fun, magical thing that we were doing together. We made some really good beer, we made some really bad beer. We learned a lot, and then over about 3 years, kind of perfected the brewing process and really learned a whole bunch. At that point, we were living in Philly, and we kind of wanted to do something interesting and unique that nobody else was doing. So we started Homebrewed Events. He was actually the original brainchild behind the name and the original idea, so I have a lot to thank for him doing that. But we started teaching people and really, sharing our passion about beer, sharing our passion about brewing with other people. And it was really freaking cool. It started out more as an in-home party. I think like Tupperware, but with beer.
Right, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Tupperware party, but with beer.
We would come in and set everything up and brew beer with you, and then leave the beer, and you'd have beer, and it was really cool. And it's kind of progressed from there to where we are now, where we do tastings, we do pairings, we do brewing classes, we do corporate events, we do wedding events. We have a space of our own. We've kind of grown from this original fun, cute idea to an actual business, which is really neat.
I can't think of two people that are more qualified to have this business. I mean, with both of you with your management skills and backgrounds, you both obviously know the brewing side quite well, and beer. You're both Cicerone certified, correct?
I'm certified Cicerone, so I did I'm the second level. He is still beer server. Sorry, Garrett.
Oh, man.
We did study together, but he did not pass the first time.
She has more thetans.
I gave up his secret.
Less thetans?
Well, science shows that we have better
let's go
palates.
Metachlorians.
Midichlorians.
We have better palates, so it makes sense
Women?
that a woman would do better.
I totally believe that, yeah.
Yep, I nailed it in the first try, which was awesome.
Awesome, good for you.
Cool.
Currently studying for advanced Cicero.
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you going to go all the way up the ladder?
How many levels are there?
There's 4.
4.
When I originally got certified Cicerone, there was only 3, and I was like, "Yay, I'm good. I don't have to do anything else now." Because the Master Cicerone is just kind of ridiculous. There's only like 15 in the world.
Isn't there only like one woman?
There's
There might be
2.
more now.
They're growing, and it grows every year. But Master Cicerone is just like this weird high level of God that you just don't seem to really be able to actually get to.
Transcendence.
So I was like, oh, I'm good. And then a couple months after that, they announced the advanced Cicerone. So I was like, well, I got to start studying again.
It keeps you fresh, though. It keeps you on your toes. And
honestly, I enjoy that program. That was one of the best things I ever did. The place I was working at, Auriglio Beverage, we actually started that program and worked with a couple salespeople to get through the Cicerone program, and I was kind of leading that study group. We actually held the exam at Auriglio. It was a wonderful experience, and I'm so glad that I got to do it. But the Cicerone program, I think, is one of the best because it is the customer-facing program. So how to taste beer, how to look for off flavors, everything about the brewing process, everything about the way to serve beer properly, what could possibly go wrong with a beer. It's just such an in-depth program.
So prior to this episode, I was checking out your website, homebrewedevents.com, for those that want to learn more. But I learned so much not only about your business here, but also about you. And I found it interesting that one of your first jaunts in the craft beer world was at the Abbey Bar.
Our stage.
Our stage at Appalachian Brewing Company in Harrisburg. So how cool was that?
Honestly, I have a lot to thank for music getting me into beer, which is kind of fun. I actually knew the guys from Neshaminy many years before I even knew them in the beer sense. I used to book their bands
That's
forever.
Awesome.
And I went to state college, so, Jeremy and I ran in the same circles. He's a little bit older than I, but we knew each other through beer and through music, and eventually now only beer. But it's kind of funny. I booked shows when I was a teenager, did it in high school, and then moved into college, and then I got a job in Harrisburg, and met the booking agent for the Abbey Bar. We just hit it off right away. He has recently passed away, Jersey Mike. But I have everything to owe to him because that was such a cool venue. I was able to do a lot of booking there, and then I really kind of fell in love with the beer. You're drinking beer that was brewed there, and then also in the Abbey Bar, this beautiful Belgian selection. Mm-hmm. So, and I would be there more nights than I should be, hanging out, drinking beer, listening to great music, and it was just such a cool experience. So that was when music started to kind of die down in my life, and beer really took off.
Is that when you then joined Origlio after that?
It was a couple years after that. I moved to Philly for another job with a nonprofit. My first job out of college was with a nonprofit, and I stayed with them for 5 years. But I was doing beer on the side, which they knew, which is fun. A lot of my fundraisers were around beer. So, but I got a job in Philly, and then eventually I was trying to get into the beer world, just being kind of an outsider looking in and really wanting to get in. And I got a job with Origlio, and I was with them for 2 years doing marketing and social media.
Very cool.
It was such a cool experience.
And now you are full into the beer world.
Yeah.
What got you to actually start commercial brewing?
So, I've been home brewing for over 10 years, which is kind of crazy to think at this point. But I left Origlio, and I kind of wanted to give homebrewed events a shot. So, homebrewed events was my company, going from doing it part-time to full-time, but I was still looking to have a little bit of income coming in. So I figured, let's do something that I actually want to do. I want to brew. So I got an internship with St. Benjamin. I was there for 6 months as an intern and then got hired on. So I am there only part-time, so I'm only there Thursday, Fridays. And I owe so much to them. They've been wonderful to work with. I love those guys. Andrew and Josh are the best. And I really am proud of what we do there. It's a small team to put out that much beer. And those guys work so very hard. But I've learned so much from them.
So cool. And it gives you cred. I mean, you come here and say you want to do a brewing class. You're not just learning from somebody that owns an events company. You're learning from someone that really does this.
Yeah, that actually brews beer. Yeah, commercially.
Knows what they're doing and knows what they're talking about in all areas of beer.
So I've got along with that, also the Cicerone, having the Cicerone aspect of it, but something that just occurred, do you have a certificate that you get to display somewhere that says, I am a Cicerone? Do they give you that? Or is it just
she has a tattoo on her back.
The date
if I get to master, I would get a Cicerone tattoo.
That would be really cool.
No, you get a certificate, you get a pin, and you are listed on their website. So you can actually search people's names. So you can figure out who from Pennsylvania is a certified Cicerone, who's an advanced. Actually, one of the guys that works out of this space is one of the only advanced Cicerones. So he used to be with Windridge. Now he works for a company that sells brewing equipment. So he's wonderful, Jason. But he's one of the only advanced in Pennsylvania. So
that's cool.
Wow.
So cool. Yeah. And he actually did take the master exam. He did not make
so he's
it.
Crazy.
Yeah. He's very smart.
Wow. So I guess we should talk about what we're here for, events. Now, obviously, one of the big events here, which is sort of what we're doing as we're podcasting, is people can come here and homebrew.
Yep.
Which is super cool.
Yeah, so it's a fun class. We do a couple public classes a month, but what is a lot of fun is if you want to do a private class. So you have 5, 10, 15, 20 friends. You want to get together and you want to brew beer. You do some tastings along with the brewing, but then you get to keep the beer that you make. So you get to have 2.5 cases of beer that you personally had a hand in brewing. It's fun for birthday parties, just to get together, anniversaries. We've done housewarming parties, which is fun.
That's a good idea.
That's
come
awesome.
in and make
Way
a
to
mess.
break in the house. Yeah. First thing we did when we moved in, we brewed beer.
Yeah. So you christen your house.
Yeah, definitely.
And then with that, we also have packages for corporate events. So we can do team building events. You do 2 brews side by side, and then you have to build out the recipe together, and then you get to try the beer in a couple weeks and see who's better.
I know. Are most of those events geared towards either like people who have never brewed or like just beginning to brew, or do you do stuff for like maybe homebrewers who have been in for a while?
Yeah, I mean that's a good part about actually being a brewer and a home brewer is that I can do very basic intro classes and then I can do more advanced classes.
Right.
And I can tailor it to what you are interested in. We've actually had a few people just kind of hire us to brew with them to see what they were doing wrong.
Oh, interesting.
Because they're like, man, our beer, like this, and this happens. You know, it comes out too sour or it gets infected or, you know, something is happening in their brewing process. So we just brew with them just to kind of see what they're doing, what they could do better. And it's a cool experience because everybody kind of does it similar but a little bit different. So it doesn't matter how many years you've been brewing. Brew with people. It's fun. You get to learn new techniques, or you get to judge them. Like I would never do it that way. But if that works for you, then that's fine.
I kind of like. I really like the concept of doing the private homebrew one because you could. Somebody who may be interested in getting into homebrewing but doesn't want to put forth the money to get all the equipment and dedicate the time and the space in their house to it. Like, it's really cool that you can give them a taste of it to see if it's for them. I think it's such a great idea.
Exactly. And, you know, honestly, how I got started was I loved beer and I just wanted to know how it was made. So I knew one of my friends was a home brewer. So I gave him beer and he showed me how to brew. So it's like, it's meant to be social and it's like sharing this cool skill. And you only get better as you do it more. So have friends over, you know, enjoy it and see if you like it. You know, it's meant to be a social activity. A lot of people get really like serious and sometimes mean to each other about beer, and I don't understand. And it's meant to be a happy, fun experience. Yeah. There's no need to fight.
Yeah, beer is fun. That's all you need to know about it.
Yeah.
I liked the different ideas for the wedding packages on your website, like the bachelor and bachelorette brew day. It was super cool. You mentioned the anniversary beer, but I like the wedding favor brew day.
Yeah.
That's the kind of wedding favor I want.
It's so funny. You know, again, when we started this 5 years ago, we had no idea what it would actually turn into. It was just this fun idea that we had. You know, again, Tupperware parties, that's where we started. But our friends were getting married and, you know, they actually reached out to Garrett and they're like, do you think you'd be able to make a beer for us for our wedding? We're like, oh, I don't see why not. Like that totally makes sense. And we came up with this plan and just had people like their wedding party and them come down and brew. And it was just this fun experience because they got to make something that they're going to give to the people that they love, you know, at their wedding. And we worked with them to come up with the label design. And it was just like this great experience that we had no idea that was even possible. And then from there, we're like, oh, we can actually like make this a thing.
Oh, I just got an idea for that. So okay,
Yeah.
so if you're gonna brew it for your wedding, you should do one where you brew a beer that you can also age. You can have like your 5-year anniversary.
We got that.
That's a really good idea. That reminds me, our cousin Tom got, when Liz and Tony got married, bought them a bottle of wine that was meant to age for 10 years.
Oh. People
And
do
so
that
you're
for
not-
babies,
you're
too.
not supposed to open it
Who
for
was
10
it?
years.
We had someone on the show
yeah.
where they brewed like a barley wine or something,
Yeah,
and then
and
they
they're
saved
saving
like 21 bottles of it, and
Yeah.
then they have one every year on the birthday, and then they'll have
The last one.
The last
when,
one with the
Who was
kid.
that?
I forget.
That's
call us
amazing.
listeners. One of you remembers.
We haven't tapped into the baby market yet, so
But that's another thing. Like brew a beer for your baby.
yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be awesome.
Yeah.
It goes back. I mean, these were traditions that, you know, different cultures around the world would used to do for celebrations. So they would make something, you know, something to be aged and something to be cared for. And, you know, we're kind of bringing it back to modern day. You know, I like the kind of DIY movement that's happening, you know, learn how to do things yourself and how things are made and, you know, being very artsy in crafts. And it's really cool. And homebrewing fits right in with that.
And I like that you have the option to come here and do it.
Yeah.
Because I love to brew, but I like brewing at other people's houses on other people's systems.
Yeah.
Like, I'll help you clean up your mess, but I hate when it's
Like having
my
to
mess
store
that I have to
stuff
clean up.
and have
Yeah,
it
well,
somewhere in the
I know
house.
he's still trying to
Yeah,
get me to
Rich
sell
probably
all my
likes it too.
equipment because I have so much of it. But it's so neat. Like,
Well,
that
look
you
at
can
all the
come
money he
here
made from his
and-
G.I. Joes. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, my homebrewing equipment is not worth what his G.I. Joe toys are worth. But no, it's just neat that you can come here and you're learning something, you're doing something, you're creating something, but you're also hanging out and having fun in a super cool spot.
This is an
Yeah.
awesome spot. We haven't really talked a whole lot about the actual space. space, but this is so like it's rustic, it's homey, it's cool. There's all sorts of cool like accoutrements around. There's that old timey radio over there.
I love the mirrors, the original hardwood
I didn't even
floors.
see the radio. Holy crap, that's cool.
That's why I wanted to do the picture.
That's why we took
over
her
there.
picture there.
I was sound checking.
Yeah,
doing
It's
audio
okay.
stuff.
You weren't paying attention.
So it is actually a vintage radio, and the guy who owns Retro Radio, he actually updates it, so it's a modern speaker system, and you can plug your phone in, and it plays.
Oh, that's
What?
cool.
Awesome.
That's cool. Does it
So-
have Bluetooth?
It does not have Bluetooth.
That's
I
Next
wish
step.
that it had Bluetooth. It'd make classes a little easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool.
That's pretty awesome.
and like the antique furniture. I love like nothing matches. It's
Lots
super
of
cool.
mirrors. Yeah.
Everything pretty much was bought at Jinxed. Oh, our beer.
Oh, that's the beer.
Time.
That's what that
Hey.
is. Hey.
Before we go too much further, we do have another sipping beer that we passed around. This is another Fine Creek one, right?
Correct. This is their cucumber saison. Saison.
Saison de cucumber.
Hey, Wayne, what does that mean in French?
I believe it means season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. Shocking, I know.
Yes. I do like this, and I know I've said many times that I don't like cucumbers, but this is actually really well done. It's not heavy on the cucumber. It tastes like a saison with like a hint of it. I really appreciate that.
What I really like about it, it does have that little bit of cucumber towards like the back of the palate, but it also has like a lot of saisons have like a black peppery character, and it's got a little bit of that, and it almost feels like a cucumber with a little dash of salt and pepper on it, which is really nice.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, this is like the perfect summer beer. I don't like eating cucumbers. I like drinking cucumbers. So, like
Nothing wrong with
cucumber
that.
cocktails and beer. And this is done very, very well. The Manioc Belly Flop is another
Oh,
very
yeah.
good cucumber beer.
Super good. The first cucumber beer I ever had was at Cigar City. They did a cucumber something or other.
Cucumber something or other. Huh?
Yeah, I don't
right.
remember.
Now, as Steph had said earlier, we are here to brew a beer.
To multitask.
To multitask, to brew a beer while podcasting, and see how the experiment goes. So we did start before we started recording. We got a little involved, and I got to hold a bag for the grains. So
I got
Got to hold a bag, guys.
I held a bag.
and apparently that has some significance because it cuts down the overall brew time, more or less. So for somebody who, I know a lot of people out there listening are probably very familiar with the concept of brewing, but say we have somebody helping to host the show who's not familiar overall with how it goes. What all is involved in brewing? How does the process start? What was the bag for? Let's go from there.
All right, this is for you, Dan.
Yeah, I wasn't going to name anybody.
But
They
we
know,
appreciate
they
it.
know.
Well, you
It's
know
all
an
about
awful lot
learning.
about drinking beer.
Yeah.
I do, and I'm really good at that.
All right. So basically, the basic concept of beer is making almost like a barley tea. So from there, you make this tea, and then you want to boil it, and then throughout the boiling process, you want to add in your hops. So to get to the part where we can boil it, you actually have to steep the grains. So there's a number of ways that you can do it, but I've perfected, I guess I could say, the quick all grain version, which is basically a brew in a bag kind of setup. So you add your malts to basically like a cheesecloth kind of looking bag, pre-measured out. So for this one, we're actually using a mixture of Pilsner malt and wheat, which I think is kind of a really, really nice base for an IPA, especially we added a little bit of honey to it, which is, again, one of my favorite things. I love it. So you let that steep anywhere from a half hour to an hour, depending on how many malts you're using, how fine the grind is, basically. So this one was pretty fine. So it was able to create the conversion within 45 minutes. So basically, you're looking for all of the sugars and proteins and all of the good stuff to be extracted. So that's what you want to be boiled, and that's what you want to start fermentation. So you need the sugars for the yeast, more sugars, more alcohol, more CO2.
Okay.
And what do we call that liquid?
Wort. I know that much. I know that much.
He can be taught.
Believe it or not. So we had ours in for about 45 minutes.
Yep.
And then we added the honey, and then we were waiting for it to boil, is it currently boiling?
Yep. Right
Okay.
now the beer is boiling. So you want to make sure you have enough sugar in the wort before you boil. And then actually the boiling process does a couple different things. So it concentrates it down. So it'll boil off extra water. And then it'll also sterilize it. So basically the point of brewing, especially home brewing, is keeping outside yeast out and bacteria and keeping the yeast in that you want. Otherwise you end up with everything sour, which might not be what you're going for.
It's like rolling a 100-sided die and like 2 taste good and the rest are terrible.
It's consistency, it's writing down recipes, and it's sanitation. So even on the big scale, sanitation is super important, and keeping everything clean and sterile and outside yeast out and good yeast in.
Does the addition of something like honey change the boiling temperature, or is it still 212?
Nope, still the same.
Okay, I don't know why I thought that it might.
It adds fermentable sugars to it, and what I love about honey is that it actually stays behind. It doesn't always ferment all the way out, so you actually get to taste a little bit of the honey in the finished beer, where if you use like white sugar, it would be completely fermented out. You wouldn't actually taste it. Molasses, you would taste molasses because it has that darkness to it, and then also like brown candied sugar, which is fabulous. Those Belgians know what they're doing.
Yeah. So we're making an IPA.
Yep.
That's what we're
yes.
doing. Now we added pretty much raw honey. Would there be any other kind of honey that you would substitute for that if you were looking to experiment?
Honestly, any honey that you actually personally like to eat would be a good place to start. Just keep in mind that anything that's boiled is concentrated down. So if you have, like, I think sometimes buckwheat honey is a little bit harsh, has a little bit of bitterness to it that would be amplified in the brewing process.
Okay.
So just something to keep in mind.
So where do we go from here? What happens after it's boiled?
All right, so we're making an IPA. So we have a couple different hop additions that we're going to be adding throughout the process. So we're going to be adding our bittering hops at 30 minutes, which we have to figure out what those hops are. I'm having these guys kind of build the hop profile.
I'm excited for that.
Which will be based on what they like
Be
to
interesting
smell.
if we agree or not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So basically for bittering hops, you're looking for something that has a higher alpha acid. So this actually is the bittering units that you're actually measuring in the actual hop. So I'll kind of let you guys peruse and smell, and then you can pick out which one you would pick out, and then I'll say which one I would pick out.
And then she'll tell us if we're right or wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
There
Love
are
it.
probably about 2 different ones that you could do.
There are about 2 wrong answers.
No, 2 right answers.
2 right answers, I guess.
Many
yeah.
wrong answers. Okay, Dan, pick a bag.
All right.
Now we're talking. This is for bittering hops.
This is for bittering, but also keep in mind you want to pick out which ones are for the aroma.
Mm-hmm.
So this is multi-use
Right.
smells.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Should I say what I'm
Yeah.
sniffing? Got East Kent Golding. This will be interesting. I've never smelled hops next to each other like this to get like a comparison. Now Amarillo's up next. I mean, I got to admit, I know I'm a fan of Amarillo. I might be biased towards this one. And then we have Saz.
Wish we had smell-o-vision.
I know.
Yeah, I know. It's just us shaking bags and saying random words.
So you should say what you're smelling in each of the hops.
Oh,
This
What
is true.
flavors are you picking up?
that one smells like Saz.
So I have Amarillo, and it's super tropical.
Oh,
yeah,
is there
yeah,
a
that's
beer
very
named-
fruity.
There should be a beer out
Fruity.
there somewhere named Sausage.
Yeah.
Sausage.
The sauce is much more earthy, much more herbal.
I really like Amarillo. I know I'll always like
Amarillo
a beer that has
is
that in
one
it.
of my favorites.
Amarillo is the kind of hops, like the smell of Amarillo to me is like
Ooh, this is
typical
really
what you
earthy.
think of like American IPA. Like that's kind of the smell I think that generically comes to
Yeah.
mind.
Thank
And
you,
Citra,
thank you
of
for
course.
saying my opinions.
We
to
should
that.
also note that the Saz has an alpha acid of 2.4. So that's typically, that's not very high on the bittering scale, where Amarillo is 8.6.
Meanwhile, the Yakima I've got is 3.8, which I enjoy that. It's got a very nice earthy smell to it. And then Equinox.
These are Medusa hops.
Medusa.
Yakima is the name of the company.
I realized that once I saw the sticker on here with a different one. Ooh, that I like that one. It's almost got like a. It's gonna sound stupid, but like a bubble gummy aroma.
It does have a sweetness to it. Yeah.
All right.
I get a little bit of mint from that one too.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, last one.
What is this? This is the Citra with the 24.4% alpha.
Well, if we're going by numbers, I think we found our winner.
I mean, it smells like
That's,
Citra.
everybody's favorite Citra, yeah.
All right, I'm down to 2, I think.
Ooh, these are cryo hops.
That's the new fun trendy thing in hops, cryo hops. So they're basically like concentrated down using cold nitrogen.
So you can use half as much,
Yep.
right?
And it's right, interesting.
So they're like more powerful, more expensive.
Well, I feel like we have to go with the cryo hops.
Really?
I say we do the Citra. Why not? Fucking 24%.
Are we only picking one bittering hop?
One bittering hop.
Let's
Okay.
pour all these puppies in.
Wow.
Let's make this bitter. Let's make it the way
Wow.
IPAs were meant to be
Wow.
made.
This is going to be dank
This is
as
no
fuck,
this
kids.
is no pussy IPA here.
Wow.
I was between Amarillo and Equinox.
I was going to say we were doing 2 to do the Amarillo and the
I was
Citra.
Amarillo all the way until I
Yeah.
smelled these.
So
All right,
you
well-
guys actually did really good. My choice was Amarillo for bittering.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's
So
do it.
We're going to do 1 ounce for bittering.
One thing I did want to ask, so aside from us obviously picking the hop profile here, you've sort of worked out the rest of the recipe with the malts and the honey. Do you have an idea of what the ABV target range is, or like what sort of the characteristics based on what you've already decided are going into it? Do you expect to come out the other end?
Yeah, so it should end up about between 5 and 6%, which I think is a nice solid ABV for an kind of a American style IPA, which is what we're going for. I really like, as I said, using honey in IPAs because I think it kind of balances out that bitterness, adding that nice little sweetness at the end, without being overly sweet, of course. But I really, pretty much all of these except for the East Kent Golding and the Saaz are American hops. So those were kind of the red herrings. Those I would not actually use in this recipe, but I wanted you guys to smell the difference between those. So East Kent Golding is English hop. So you'd find them in English IPAs, stouts, porters. Saaz is actually one of my favorite hops, but you wouldn't probably use it for an IPA. It is from the Czech Republic, so very popular for pilsners.
Yeah.
And then also a lot of Belgian beers use Saaz as well. So you actually do have to pick the aroma hops. So
Oh, see, I went Amarillo for the aroma.
That's what I was thinking.
you can do,
I
and
was
there's
thinking
enough of it. You can do more than
the
more
other
than
way
one.
around.
So you can do 2 to 3 different aroma hops.
I like the bubblegum of the Equinox, but I don't know how that would go with Amarillo.
I'm up for an experiment.
Yeah, but we want it to taste good. Because you want. I mean, you can do different aromas, but you got to make sure that they. I feel like we should put a little bit of Saaz in just because it's you.
Sure.
Just enough, right?
Yeah.
Just a pinch.
You keep going back to that Citra.
I would
can I
definitely
have-
recommend the Citra for aroma.
I want it just
Yeah.
because they're cryo hops. I feel like we should do most. This beer should have mostly Amarillo, I think, and like a little bit of Citra and a little bit of Saaz. That's what I think.
You think?
Okay.
I can get behind that.
Wait, you said Amarillo and then a little bit of Citra and then what?
Citra and a touch of Saaz to make it
Oh, so we're not
And
doing
a
the
touch of
Equinox?
Saaz.
personal.
Because
Well,
it'd be nice to have a little bit that like earthy grassiness in there
I've
too.
been outvoted.
Yeah, but I love that. But I don't think like when you sniff it side by side. I don't know.
So if we put Saaz in, though, do we have to call it an American style IPA and not an American IPA?
Ooh, valid.
It's not American
question.
hops then.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
It's
care.
not an American IPA. It's a Beer Busters IPA.
This is fair.
and
Okay.
it's going to be clear as fuck.
Yes, it is. I'm glad you brought up the
I
elephant
mean,
in the room.
compared to the rest, the Saaz is very subtle compared to the rest of them. Now that I've gone back to it,
Yeah, I feel like the Saaz. We're not putting the Saaz in like because it's going to do much. We're putting the Saaz in because hey, we put Saaz on this.
Yeah, it's more of a token hop. Yeah, it's more of a
I
token.
feel
hop.
like it's a little bit of Meredith in here.
Yeah.
And,
love
and
it.
a little bit of Steph because it's a
Mhm.
main hop for Czech Pilsner. So
Yeah. And are these the malts, the wheat and
Yeah,
Pilsner malt
so-
that we're in?
Pass these around. So this is Pilsner malt. You can smell and taste it if you want.
taste.
yeah, chew on it.
You can eat it.
Put it in your mouth.
That's now a soundbite.
You can also, I mean, it's totally safe. You can put a hot pellet in your mouth. if
I
you want.
was-
No, you
I mean,
can't.
it's not going to kill you.
You won't taste anything for like a day.
If you put the cryo op, you won't taste anything for a month.
Yeah, right.
And then that's the wheat. So we can either be flaked or just the kernels.
So we should give a shout out to the local homebrew club or homebrew shop that you guys get your ingredients from.
Yeah, we have a really good relationship with a Philly homebrew outlet. We love those guys, and they have 3 locations now, which is awesome. One of which is right around the corner from us in the Northern Liberties neighborhood, but they're in the actually Kensington neighborhood. We love those guys.
Where's the third? The other one's in West Philly. Where's the third?
Third is in Jersey.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Tonewood.
Yeah, they were talking about it.
Eli.
Eli,
the Tonewood boy.
Dumpster possum.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we are passing around a cider. We've dabbled in cider from time to time.
We
A
have
little bit here, a little
Yeah.
bit there.
Yeah, it's local, and as of
super local.
today for this recording, as we have found out, they are opening their location not too far from where we are.
Yes, it's been a long time coming. They bought a building over a year ago, and it's taken about a year for construction and licensing and everything for them to get open, and they're officially opening the doors today.
I always thought Current was actually open. Like, I figured it was a thing.
Yeah, they've been distributing for a while.
Yeah,
I think
They-
it's the name because it's current.
Right.
Current has been around for a couple years, which is really cool, but they are currently
Currently,
being brewed out of Free Will. So Free Will actually does the recipes for them, or doesn't do the recipes for them, but they actually brew the cider.
That's cool.
And then they're distributed from there.
Yeah.
But now they're going to switch over to actually brewing at their new location.
That's awesome.
Their new location, which is also not actually in Fishtown. It's in Kensington, right?
That's in Fishtown.
No, it's in Fishtown. I thought we decided it was in Kensington.
Tried so hard.
Nope, that one's Fishtown. So it's 436 East Girard Avenue. They just opened today, 4 p.m. It looks like they're going to be open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, they're open every day except for Monday, Tuesday.
This is nice.
It is really nice. It's not super sweet.
I'm starting to like
drier
cider
ciders.
more and more.
Yeah, me too.
I used to be, but I like that these craft cideries are making drier ciders.
Yeah.
And I think for a long time, my perception of cider was always something super sweet and cloying.
Well, there's a balance. You know, I've had ones that were way too dry that I couldn't really finish.
I can't imagine
can't
a
be
cider
too
that's too
dry.
dry.
I have.
Well, we went to a cidery in Richmond this week, and one thing that they put on their board, which is interesting, is the residual sugars. And
It's
all
like
of them
wine,
were
yeah.
like a single digit. Some of them were like 0.1%. There was one that was literally 0.1% residual sugars, and I was like, holy crap. They were really good. They are super, super low. And she said it had to do, I don't know.
Something
I know a
cider
lot about
making.
beer, but I do not know a lot about
So
cider.
talking about ciders, it was.
Cider's
She
more
was
similar
explaining
to
why that
wine.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actual process of making cider is very similar to wine.
But I really enjoyed them, and it surprised me, though they're super high in alcohol. Like this one's only 5.8%.
Yeah.
But some of the ones we had there were like 8, 9. One was 16%.
Yeah.
I was like,
They start crossing that border into the wine category for
Yeah.
ABV.
Yeah.
but it's not like a barrel aged beer where it feels like it's 16%.
They
It's,
drink so light and
yeah.
easy. Yeah.
Because one I was
yeah.
like, oh, this tastes like apple juice. Chug, chug,
Chug,
chug.
chug.
What? 10%?
That's 80 proof. Oh my god.
That's so
But
big.
no, well, actually, what's really nice about this is it's actually fairly sweet in the aroma, but then the taste has that nice tang and bite and dryness to the end. It's really
Yeah.
And I know what you're saying because, like, I feel like for a long time all the ciders that I would try were super sweet. Is
that a beer timer?
Is it
It's
time?
time.
Time to tend the beer.
All right, so we've added the hops.
The first hop edition.
The first hop edition. So how long does that all have to steep and boil and I stopped myself in the middle of the word because I was just trying to ramble on and think of other words. But how long does that have to
Fester
sit?
is the word you're looking for. Fester.
That is what I wanted. Thank you.
So it's called isomerization.
Run that by me one more time. I'm sorry.
Isomerization.
Spell it.
Isomerization.
Nope, I'm not going to spell it.
ISO.
I would have been wrong. 'Cause
Isomer.
I thought it was a
It's
Z.
isomerization,
Yeah.
basically, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got to do that.
So, so that's basically the hop actually changes its chemical composure during the boiling process. So if you think of like making soup,
To be fair, Dan, if you were boiling, you would probably lose your composure as well.
In more ways than one. Hey.
Sorry.
So it actually changes the chemical compounds of the hop and makes it super, super bitter. If you want to add hops towards the end of the boil, that's all for aroma. That doesn't really add any bitterness to it.
Because the chemical composition hasn't changed.
Yep.
It hasn't isomerated.
Yep.
Close enough.
Sure.
And hops actually have a lot of other fabulous properties as well that we've talked about on this show.
Fabulous.
So we've moved on to
An old favorite.
a beverage from St. Benjamin, yes. And it is the tried and true, never gets old, wit or wit out.
Such a good beer.
Oh, it's
I
great.
love this beer so
Yeah.
very much. So this was the very first beer that I've ever had from St. Ben's, way back before I worked for them, and I was just blown away. You know, wit is one of the more popular beer styles, especially commercially, like with Blue Moon, and you see a lot with like the Allagash White, which are fabulous. I love Allagash; they can do no wrong. But I love this version of it because of. Do you guys know what the secret ingredients are?
Love and happiness.
I mean, there's lots of love that goes into that.
Happiness, not so much.
Just love.
Angry love.
Are you allowed to tell us the secret ingredients? They're not secret at that point if you do.
I mean, it's not super secret.
Onions and cheese whiz?
I don't know.
That would be so funny. So it is called Wit or Wit Out, but there's no cheese steak ingredients in there.
That's a shame.
I made an onion beer before. It doesn't work out so
Not so
well.
much.
That just
Yeah.
sounds... I love onions, but that sounds bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't good. But you got to try it. Because why
I
not?
guess. Yeah.
So this one, do you know what the two ingredients that makes a wit beer are?
Wheat.
Okay, 3 ingredients.
Coriander.
Uh-huh.
The right kind of yeast.
The right stuff.
The right stuff. Orange peel.
Yeah.
So it has all that. But then it also has grains of paradise, which is like a fancy pepper. And then chamomile.
I wish it was just called fancy pepper.
I don't know if I knew there was chamomile.
I didn't know there was chamomile. Yeah.
Secret
I feel
ingredient.
like that should have come up before because we've drank this on the show many times.
Yeah.
It's so good. But if you don't know that
If you-
it's there,
yeah.
you don't necessarily pick it out.
But once
okay,
you
now
do
that it's
know-
in your brain, do you taste it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
a bit, for
definitely.
sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
Wow.
Awesome. No wonder this beer chills you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is one of my
It's-
favorite beers to brew.
I was just going to
It's
ask you,
still
what is
lovely.
your favorite beer to brew at St.
This
Ben?
is one of them. My absolute favorite beer that we ever do, which we didn't do this year, and I'm very sad, Andrew. The Pennyworth Oatmeal Stout is my absolute favorite beer that we've ever made at St. Ben's. Because of production, we just ended up not making it for the winter, which is fine. We'll make it again soon. But it's just like this perfect oatmeal stout. It's
But you
just
guys made a
straightforward.
killer freaking Rausch beer this year.
Oh man, that beer is so good.
Yeah.
We changed the smoked malts that we used, and it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
However, it lasts a while in the tap lines. We actually had to change the tap line because it was so strong.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
No artificial smoke; it was all natural, and
Why
it was
does their pale ale
super-
taste like bologna?
That's not a bad
It
thing.
happens.
Actually, that could be pretty good.
I still think my favorite St. Ben's beer overall is I guess Junto is what goes by now. I love that beer so much.
That's really good. Yeah.
Coffee Kolsch. That beer is kind of like this weird thing because you close your eyes and you drink and you're like, I'm drinking cold brew coffee.
Yeah.
And then you open it up, it's this
It's a
bright,
pale beer.
bright
Yeah.
pale
Mm-hmm.
colored beer.
It was ahead of its time because
Yeah.
Yeah.
there are a lot of breweries
Yeah.
making
Oh, for
beers
sure.
like that now. But
There
St.
weren't
Ben was
then.
one
I
of the
always
first.
think of that one as the first eye-opening
Yeah.
experience.
It had a
for
different name then.
Yeah, it was just coffee.
It was,
Kolsch.
it was
Yeah.
called Kolsch. It wasn't called
Yeah.
Junto yet. Yeah. I always liked. Oh, now I'm blanking on. I just thought of it.
I liked the Vienna Lager we had.
Vienna
at
Lager,
Oktoberfest.
yeah.
Was it a Märzen or Vienna Lager?
It wasn't.
No, it was a
I thought,
Märzen.
yeah, it was a Märzen.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah.
were all excited when we had the
Whatever we were drinking in the Moss.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
was pretty
beer
awesome.
was
Oh,
freaking
the
delicious.
Inca. I was going to say the Inca.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
really like
Oh,
Inca.
we just brewed that again.
Yeah,
That used
that's
to be
really
a
good.
year-round beer. We moved it back to seasonal. So it's available now.
Awesome.
I like that beer.
The menu has really changed at St. Ben too. I think for the better.
Yes.
Some really creative dishes on the menu now.
We basically the taproom manager is now managing the kitchen as well, and she's just this fabulous cook, and she's also vegetarian, so she keeps that very top of mind when she's making dishes, and it's just wonderful because there's the menu, and then there's also every day, every week, there's different specials. So I just love eating there.
Yeah, I see the Instagram posts a lot from
They
it,
make
and
me hungry.
Yeah, my
Yes.
mouth waters every single time. And what I think is really cool, you guys do a $10 growler fill of the week, right?
Yeah, that's relatively new, and it's going really, really well. So have basically the beer of the week. So that is the kind of discounted special. And it's awesome because maybe you'll try something that you wouldn't have tried before.
Yeah.
And take it home and share it with other people.
That's a really cool idea. I don't know if I've ever heard of any other breweries doing something like that.
Yeah, I don't think I've either.
No.
But it makes sense. It's such a great idea, and you get to experiment then, too, and get to take it home.
Yeah.
Plus, it also works on the business side because if you have a beer you need to get rid of to make room for something else, you just put it
But
on
it's
special.
it's not always that.
Right.
So you see discounts at breweries, you're like, oh, they're just trying to get rid of that. It's really just kind of what we think we really want to highlight that week.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's stuff that we're like, okay, we want to put something new on.
Mm-hmm.
But other times it's like, we're really excited about this beer. You should try it.
Cool.
That's cool.
That is totally cool.
Totally tubular.
So we talked a lot about the events that you do here or in-home events, but you also have some signature events. Can you
Yes.
talk about some of those?
So-
One of which is one of my favorites.
So you wonder which one.
Yes. So part of what I really enjoy outside of brewing is event planning. So we've kind of developed these kind of signature events that we do throughout the year. We do local libations garden, which is at the Piazza, where we do kind of like a boozy farmers market. It changes every year, but this year it's only April, May, and then September and October. We do the Buzz, which is a coffee, beer, and spirits festival in the spring. We did it last year at the Free Library, which was really cool. And we did a very tiny version of it here just because I really wanted to have people in the space. And we use local coffee, local coffee spirits. It was just a lot of fun. Philly Seed Fest.
What's the date for this year?
We are taking a year off.
No!
I know.
Snap!
The date is no.
The date is
We're taking a
2019.
year off. I know. We're reformatting it a little bit, but basically it's
They're adding
a
bacon.
beer. It's a
Vegan
beer
bacon.
and vegan food festival. So the last 2 years it's been at Sugar House Casino, which is one of the most beautiful event spaces in the city. If you haven't
yeah.
been
Yeah,
there,
now that they've
I
redone
mean,
it and added more,
it's-
I love it there.
It's gorgeous.
it's just like
I've
okay,
lost a lot of money there.
whether you like Sugar House or not, that event space is just out of this world.
just the outdoor space.
Oh, and yeah, they have this beautiful deck that overlooks the river, and there's free parking. It's an event planner's dream. But we are actually going to be moving from there. Next year we're going to be doing it in the Piazza as a street festival.
Very
So,
cool.
That's cool.
Just trying to keep it current, keep it interesting. With that, it will be all ages, which is fun. With Sugar House, it was very strict, 21 and over.
it has to be, yeah.
So it'll make it a little bit more flexible, but we're reformatting it. We're going to start it up again next year.
When I think of, you said street festival, and I think street food. I don't think of vegan as street food. but
Oh
that's
my
interesting.
God, you have no idea.
But I'm thinking
Some of the
like
best
when
food trucks on this
But
planet
when you
are
think
vegan
about
food
like
trucks.
street food, you think like barbecue. You think of like people throwing
Tacos.
like meat on a grill or something like that. But I'm thinking it's a cool idea, like vegan street food. That's cool. I like it. I'm trying to be supportive of veganism.
It's Nism.
Whatever. Well, I'm excited. I look forward to when it comes back. Well, even though I'll have to wait.
I know.
I like the idea of the Buzz one to get the coffee involved.
Yeah,
That's such a cool idea.
It's all of my favorite things in one festival.
Yeah.
And again, that one's going to be in April of next year. We're going to do another big version of it. So, and with that, we didn't really do any cross ones. So like we didn't have coffee cocktails and we didn't really have coffee beer necessarily. So I think this one we're going to have a lot of collaborations going on.
Yes.
So we're going to make it full tilt coffee, beer, spirits.
You'll
That's
be
awesome.
covering that one.
Oh, absolutely.
It has Dan's name all over it.
Another can just opened up, and this is one of my
Yes.
favorite beers on this planet. It is Crunch from Manayunk, which Crunch is a whole series. This is the peanut butter
This
crunch.
is chocolate peanut butter crunch. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's God. We all know I love things with peanut butter in it.
Yeah,
Apparently,
this is definitely a Dan beer.
So what is nosh?
I love that. We actually haven't done Nosh for a couple years, but it is a vendor showcase. So, and it's kind of like a speakeasy. So Nosh, shh.
I get it.
Pretty genius. It was a rotating series that kind of went around the city, doing different venues and then also highlighting different local small businesses, beer, spirits, food. Again, you can kind of see a theme here. I love all of those things. So we do events around those. It is something that I want to eventually bring back. Again, we haven't done it for probably about 2 years, but it's just so fun. And I met so many wonderful people through that event. We did 2 years of about 5 events a year, which was really cool. But some of my best friends have come out of that event.
So many things. How do you keep it all? Do you have to do something?
Was that a different alarm?
That was the induction burner turning off.
Oh, nice.
Well, we need you to stay on.
It gets angry.
I'm melting.
So for this brew, we're actually doing an induction burner, which is challenging sometimes just because it doesn't have as much oomph as like a gas stove or a propane burner, and it's finicky, so sometimes it just turns off. But it allows you to brew anywhere.
Yeah.
So you just need electricity. You can brew indoors. We use it for all of our classes. Just because it's mobile, it's easy to use, and you can't burn yourself.
So for someone who is homebrews or is looking to get into homebrewing, like cost-wise, is it like cost-effective as well?
I was going to ask that too. Yeah.
Or do you pay more because you have that flexibility?
So it's expensive. So the actual burner is probably about $100, and then you have to get a special pot for it.
Oh, right.
So unless you're planning to do it like at your office or kind of moving it around, you don't really need to have that set up. You can just use your stove at home. You just need like a big soup pot.
Do people homebrew at their office? Like that would be kind of cool.
I think that should be a thing.
Yeah.
Should be.
Hey, we're going on lunch. We're going to start brewing a beer.
The office homebrew. Yeah, well, you do team building.
We do
brewing
team building.
things.
Yeah.
I mean, come
We
on.
do team building.
Yeah.
That's true.
We've gone to offices and set up, and it was really cool. Actually, my favorite one we did at Caesars in Atlantic City.
What?
Oh, nice.
It was so cool.
That's awesome.
I brewed a beer at Caesars in Atlantic City.
That's so cool. So how far have you, what's the furthest you've gone for an event? Is that it?
We did an event in North Carolina,
Wow.
which was really cool. So it actually worked out. We ended up going down for a couple days around the actual brew and got to stay for a while. So it was like kind of vacation and event together.
That's pretty cool.
So we are mobile if anybody wants to, take us out to California or, where else do I want to go? Alaska.
Alaska would be nice.
Yeah. On a boat.
Yeah?
On a boat, like with the icebergs.
Man.
Yeah.
You could use icebergs.
Yeah, boats
in
and
the
icebergs.
in
I
the-
mean, what could go wrong?
glaciers was what the word I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
The fuck?
So we've added all of the hops to our brew now. Which means how much time do we have before we have to do something else?
So we added a little bit of sterile ice, which is a quick way to cool your beer. Normally you'll do it through a wort chiller or an ice bath submersion. So the ice bath takes a while because basically you're...
My doctor told me to do that.
Yeah. It's, it takes a bit. The wort chiller would cool it down quicker, but if you are doing events in your house and you don't have one, or you're doing events for a podcast, you can just use sterile ice and it cools it down instantly.
That is good to know.
Where have you been all my life, Meredith? Seriously, why did no one ever teach me this shit when I started homebrewing?
So you pouring it directly into the ice itself.
Yep. So
that
any
increases the
ice.
water content, though. Does that have an effect?
So the pot that we have here, it's actually just meant for 6 gallons. So I actually did a smaller batch,
okay,
and
right.
then it's like making a concentrate.
Right,
almost.
okay.
So I counted for what the water would be added to with the ice.
Interesting.
She's smart.
She thought ahead.
She thought of this.
I do this a bit.
Yeah.
So that was a technique that I learned from George from Home Sweet Homebrew. When I first moved to Philly, they were our homebrew store because they were the closest to where we were. But George and Nancy have been the OG, as one would say, homebrew people for the city. They're the reason that Sam from Dogfish Head brews. They're the reason that a lot of people brew. So it's pretty cool to get to know them, and I love Home Sweet Homebrew. So that's like 22nd and Sansom.
Shout out. You know you're OG when you were giving Sam his ingredients.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
Yeah, he drove himself from Delaware to Philly
Wow.
to get his ingredients, and they would help him out.
That's pretty cool.
And they still do events together even today. That's really cool.
Awesome.
So we've poured another beer.
Yes.
I feel like we deserve to have some fun after all that hard
I
work.
think so.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the beer.
Yeah. What's the beer? It's the Sly Fox.
Oh, yeah, we did-
Mudlust.
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 So actually, the last 3 beers were 3 of the beers that we used for our sold out beer and donut pairing that we did during Philly Beer Week.
What?
Yep. You missed it. Where
I
were
did
you?
that one.
I don't know.
It's okay.
Probably
so
working.
It was a fundraiser for the Pink Boot Society, which helps advance women in the brewing industry. So all 3 of these breweries, Man Yunk, Sly Fox, Free Will, we drank all of their beer, so they're not here. But Free Will is also part of it, and then St. Ben's all have either female brewers or women on the sales or marketing or owners, which is really cool. So all tied to the Pink Boot Society, which is really neat. We raised over $250 for the Pink Boot Society.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Where were the donuts from?
Federal Donuts.
That's the perfect answer.
And,
That
and
is the correct
they made
answer.
a special flavor for us for the event. It was strawberry lemonade.
It was
And they
pink.
were
It was
pink.
right? Yeah.
They were pink.
That's awesome.
That is.
Do me a favor. Next time you do seed, please make sure Dottie's Donuts is
Oh
there.
my God, I love them so much.
Their donuts
Yep.
are amazeballs. And they're vegan.
I'm going to do a beer and Dottie's Donuts pairing.
Yes.
Well, on that note.
That note, we have a new beer. We also have a new person at the table. Do you want to
We
play the
do.
game?
Sure.
All right.
Sure. The only prerequisite is you have to talk into the microphone.
Yes, that is the thing.
Dan has to turn it on because
Yep,
it's
no,
been
it's on.
off. It's on.
Yep,
All right.
it's there. It's
Jill
on.
is playing the role of Garrett.
Yes.
Yes.
Still
good.
sitting in for Garrett. So introduce yourself real quick to our listeners.
My name's Jill.
Hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
Thanks for coming.
No problem.
Sitting down, playing the game. Yeah, I crossed off Garrett's name. I had it tentatively on the scoreboard, but now it says Jill.
That jerk. We should all go give him
Good.
shit after we're done.
We should. So yeah.
You just want to go to Evil Genius and get beer, let's be honest.
I mean, that was part of it, but I also want to shame him. Anyway.
Cheers, Internet, and welcome to Happy Fun Time Games, the podcast trivia segment that does it itself. Today,
Or James does it.
yeah. This time, I actually did it this time. So you have to bear with me because this connection is a bit of a stretch. But okay, so we are at Homebrewed events, and my game is about weird beer fests because they're beer events.
I love that.
So there's a
Good
connection
job.
there. There's a
Yep,
connection
yep,
there.
yep.
Perfect.
So, Bizarre Brew Fest is what we're talking about today. And, of course, we're talking about things like we all know and love the amazing Sly Fox, appropriate that we were drinking the
Yes.
beer, Goat Race and Bachfest.
I love
which,
that event.
that if you look up, like, weird, unique beer events, that's always at the top of the list.
To us, it's not weird, though. It's just freaking
It's just
awesome.
what it is, yeah. And it's really amazing how many images of Colin Presby you come across.
Well, he did win
When you-
3 times.
When you Google weird beer events, it's just Colin Presby, Colin Presby, Colin Presby. Team Peggy shirts everywhere. But yeah,
And
so
Simon.
So we're doing weird beer events. I'm going to give you the name of an event, and you have to tell me, of course, if it's real or
Well, that
fake.
one's real.
I know that one's real. That one's not in the game because we all know that one. We all know that one. But tell
Damn
me,
it.
is this one real? We will begin to my left where Steph is sitting this
Hey!
evening. And our first beer fest of the game is Sipping and Sewing. Is that real or fake?
Sipping and sewing.
Sipping and Sewing.
Oh, so all you're going to do is give us the name.
That's all you get.
I'll say real. That
All
sounds
right.
fun.
Steph is saying that
Could
is
be
real.
dangerous.
Oh, Jill, what do you think?
I want it to be real, so I'm going to say real.
All right. That's often a strategy in Happy Fun Time Game. If you want it to be real, will it to be so? Meredith.
We've hosted an event here that was basically that, so I'm going to say yes, it's real.
All right, saying it is real. And finally, Dan.
If that's the case, I will say real as well.
All right, everybody's saying real. Everybody is correct. It is,
Sweet.
in fact, real. Marma Designs and Sewing School teamed up with Comrade Brewing in Denver, Colorado to host a BYOM, that's Bring Your Own Machine, event teaching sewing basics. By the end of the night, attendees were guaranteed...
You can buy one at Aldi for like $15, guys.
Yeah, you go. Attendees were
saying.
guaranteed to be able to troubleshoot their machines, hem their pants, and even make a drawstring wine bag, which I guess could also be a beer bag.
Sure.
$35 to enter, which included fabric and supplies.
Did it include the beer?
I
Those
assume
are
so.
supplies, right?
I counts as
Beer
that's
is
a sewing
supply.
supply. Beer is a
Yeah.
sewing supply. All right, moving on to our next
Maybe I'll start sewing.
event of the game, and Jill is going to guess first on this one, and this one in the same vein is libations and LARPing. Is that real or fake?
I'm going to go with fake on
Wait,
that one.
what is LARPing?
Live
I knew when I wrote this down that Steph would be the only one who didn't know what LARPing was.
Wait, say it live
It's-
action role playing.
It's dress up, pretend for
It's
adults,
like the Renaissance Fair.
Like in parks and.
but with like magic. And,
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
lightning bolt.
it's like live D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what D&D is.
there you
Go
go.
to Clark
Because you
Park.
used to play it.
Clark Park on the weekends in West Philly.
Of
There's
course.
always LARPers.
There you go. If you want to see it in
LARPers.
action, there you go.
LARPers, LARPing.
Go look
Man,
at the LARPers.
I am
LARPing.
learning so much.
11 LARPers LARPing. Meredith, libations and LARPing, is that real or fake?
I feel like beer drinkers are nerdy enough that it's real.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with real.
Meredith
Wait,
is
isn't
saying
that something for like
that is
younger
real?
people? Aren't LARPers usually
No.
like 14?
no. Like
No.
40. Dan.
I'm going to say fake.
Dan is saying that is fake. And finally, Steph, who just
I
learned.
hope it's not real, but I'm going to say real.
All right.
I hope you didn't come up with that in your brain.
I came up with it in my brain because it is fake, which means Jill and Dan are correct.
All right, we're going to start that.
I'm actually surprised. I really thought, like, I Googled around and I couldn't find anything.
I hope you did that in an incognito window.
I don't even remember. Maybe. But I'm sure there are lots of LARPers who drink while they're LARPing, but too much booze and even plastic swords can be dangerous. You
Well,
know?
then you're out in like public, so you have to be careful of.
That's true. That's really, you get a permit, or you do it in somebody's backyard. If you have some reluctant LARPers, you get them a little boozed up first.
Reluctantly LARPed at the starting line.
Moving on
Love it.
to Meredith to guess first
LARPing.
on the next one, and our next beer fest is the Burning Can Festival.
All right. I know that there's Phoenixville does a burning something or other festival. There's Burning Man, so why not Burning Can? I'm going to go real.
All
Oh
right.
yeah, Burning Man. They do that
Yeah.
in New Mexico.
That was the connection.
That's a thing.
Yeah,
That
that's
was-
the.
That was the point.
Yep.
Moving on to Dan. Who's gonna
Real.
guess
I'm
next?
gonna say real.
Dan also saying real.
Sure,
Steph,
real.
Steph also saying sure, real. And finally, Jill.
I'm going to go with fake.
Oh, Jill going fake, bucking the trend doesn't pay off because it is, in fact, real. It is named after, of course, Burning Man. It's the brainchild of early beer canning pioneer Oscar Blues. Like the brewery itself, the festival is all about promoting great beer and an outdoor adventurous life. The event also includes the infamous Beer Relay, a combination trail run and beer drinking race, in which, before each lap, you have the option to guzzle an Oscar Blues beer and chip 2 minutes off of your lap time. Which is so responsible.
Wow.
Yes. Moving on to our fourth and final beer fest of the game, and
Oh,
Dan unusually is going to guess first on the last question, and this is Bondage Brewing BDSM Beer Fest.
What's BDSM?
Don't even start, Steph.
Nope. That is. Please be fake.
And I don't
Please-
want to Google it.
Please,
No,
no, you don't want to Google it.
You are incognito window.
Do it in an incognito window. Do you think it's real or fake?
What is it? I can't see if it's real or
It's
fake.
bondage, domination, sadomasochism.
That's not real.
Oh
That's,
no, the fetish is real. But what about the fest?
yeah, no fest. You do that in your own home privately.
No, you
fest.
don't.
No fest. So you're saying fake.
Fake.
All right, Jill, what do you think?
Seriously.
Going with fake as well.
Jill also going with fake, and finally Meredith.
Although it terrifies me that you could have come up with that.
All right, so
Oh,
I
no.
know of an
Oh, boy.
event.
She's been there.
I know that events happen in Philly that are similar to that, so I'm going to say yes. It's real.
Saying real. Well, Steph, be afraid, be very afraid. It is, in fact, fake. It is not real. However, I have, if anyone is interested in pioneering an event like this, I have an idea for some of the beers they could serve.
Oh no.
The Whip Me Witch beer.
Safe word from Free Will.
There you go.
Of
That's
course.
a good one.
That beer is fucking awesome.
Butt Plug Baltic Porter.
Oh my God.
Gimp Goza. Dominatrix Doppelbach. I mean, they write themselves. They really do.
Do
No,
they
you
though?
wrote them. You wrote them.
All right, we're going to add up the points real quick here and see who our big winner is. And with a runaway perfect score, 4 points out of 4 questions, Dan A
Hey,
perfect score.
all right, I'll take it.
You
I'll
are
take it.
our big winner tonight. Tied in second place with 3 points each is Steph and Jill. And coming in last place with only half of them correct, 2 points, is Meredith.
But I got ideas for other events that I
Yeah,
can do.
definitely.
Who's
Listen,
really the winner here?
I
So-
googled dressage. Do you know what that is?
No.
That is
I do.
Fancy horse.
fancy horse dancing. There is one. I googled cryptozoology beer fest. There is one. So there's a beer fest for everybody out there. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. These things all exist. And of course, this is the part of the podcast where we shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon, the people who keep the lights on in the Beer Busters global headquarters. We would like to thank from the bottom of our hearts the following individuals: James Lamberg,
That's a 10 for you, buddy.
Eric Dixon, Joe Mansell,
Filled with yummy goodness.
the one and only that's no baloney, Brad Diodato,
And don't try it, motherfuckers.
exactly, Nate Foxman,
It's so nutty.
Sloan Peterson,
It's drugs.
Brian Mills, Oak Brook Brewing Company, Wolfgang Von Colt, Jen McDonnell.
I'll tap that.
Yeah, you will.
Not where I wanted to go with that one.
Marilyn Engelman.
You can't really stick your whole thumb in there.
Jesus Christ. Josh Price. To clarify, Jesus Christ is not a patron of the podcast.
Or maybe he is.
Would that he were. Ron McDonnell.
I love all people.
Yep, and Victoria Miles.
Hi, guys.
If you want to find out how you can get onto this esteemed list, as well as many other behind-the-scenes perks, including access to Last Call, our bonus portion of the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/beerbusters to find out more.
Yes, and as for now, we have to pay that ever-growing tab.
It was homebrew, but I guess we got to pay for it.
Yeah, I got to pay for the equipment.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
As somebody with a bad back, I certainly appreciate a good night's sleep. And that's why I want to tell you, the good listeners of Beer Busters, about Casper. Casper is an obsessively engineered mattress at shockingly fair prices. It's got just the right sink and just the right bounce. And there's 2 technologies. It is made from latex foam and memory foam. They come together for a life well slept. You get your risk-free trial and a return-free policy, and you can try Casper for 100 days, all with free shipping, painless returns, and you can get $50 towards any mattress purchase by going to CasperTrial.com/beerbusters and using the promo code 50SLEEP, 50SLEEP. Terms and conditions do apply.
This episode of Beer Busters is brought to you in part by Audible. You know Audible. They have over 180,000 audiobooks for you to download and listen to. And right now, listeners of Beer Busters podcast can go to audibletrial.com/beerbusters and start a free 30-day trial of Audible and get 1 free audiobook to download and keep till the end of days. Go to audibletrial.com/beerbusters.
No.
Your beers.
Know your beers.
Hey, Steph, what do you got?
So John Sticka recently wrote a Brewing Beers to Cellar article for BYO Magazine. So I wanted to summarize some of his advice. Oh, I thought he was going to say something.
No, I would never.
Yes, you would. So the first thing you need to do is you need to give careful consideration to what style of beer will lend itself to being aged. Beer connoisseurs often point to the 3 S's of the types of beer to age, which are...
Stouts.
No. Strong, sour, and smoked.
Stouts.
So strong beers are those that are typically both high starting gravity and subsequently high alcohol strength, which would be like 8% ABV or higher. Sour beers are those that have become acidic from the activity of microorganisms. Smoke beers, of course, are those made with a certain percentage of malt that has been exposed to wood or peat smoke after or during kilning. Check out Sticka's article as he looks at each of these 3 styles of beer to find out why and how they age the way that they do, and to help understand the basics of aging each type of beer. There's also some special considerations to make when brewing these beers, and we should pause to give them special planning, both with ingredients and process, if we're going to age and enjoy them for a long time to come, like if you're going to do it for 21 years after having a baby. 2 important points to consider for brewing strong beers is to determine how you will achieve the initial high original gravity and how the yeast will deal with the big job of fermenting all those sugars in the wort. Check out Sticka's article as he gives specific advice for each of the 3S styles. Once you have your age-intended beer brewed, there's some points to consider when looking for a place to store it for the long haul. The proverbial cool, dark place is usually the best place to age beer. Isohumalones from hops are sensitive to light and will decline and change rapidly if not protected from it. Another consideration for successful aging, of course, is temperature. Too cold and the beer will age very slowly. Too warm and the beer will mature quickly, but with potentially negative side effects. The Goldilocks temperature of beer aging is 55 degrees Fahrenheit. However, any temperature between 32 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit is acceptable for aging beer. We should also consider the type of seal and orientation of each bottle of beer during long-term storage. Beer sealed with a metal crown cap should be stored upright and left undisturbed. This will allow the yeast to settle at the bottom of the bottle and make it easier to pour a sediment-free glass when the time comes to serve it. The orientation of bottles of beer sealed with a cork and cage is the subject to much debate. If the relative humidity of your storage area is low, that would be less than 55%, there's greater potential for the cork to dry out if the bottle is stored upright, with the cork not in contact with the beer inside the bottle. The resulting dried out cork may allow oxygen to enter the bottle, producing cardboard-like or even burnt flavors to develop in the beer.
Is that the same thing when they say like a wine is corked? That the cork has dried out and
Yes.
oxygen has gotten into the wine?
Yes.
Okay.
If you live in an area where the air is almost always drier than 55 degrees relative humidity, corked bottles should be stored on their sides, or you should seal your bottles with crown caps and store them upright. So they give a list of suggested beer styles to age. Many of these I think we all love, so try these out. Doppelbock.
Yes.
Should just stop there.
Yeah, right. Well, Eisbach is next.
Eisbach, Baltic Porter, Old Ale, Wee Heavy, English Barley Wine, Imperial Stout, American Strong Ale, American Barley Wine, Flanders Red Ale, Oud Brun, Lambic, Guz, Bier de Garde, Belgian Golden Strong Ale, Belgian Triple, Belgian Dark Strong Ale, a Brett beer, mixed fermentation sour beer, smoked beer, and wood-aged beer.
And of course, New England IPA.
Nope. So some good advice. It is a very lengthy article, but Stika goes and gives some really great advice. So if it's something you're considering, if you want to brew a beer to cellar, definitely check it out. And if you want to get your own free copy of Brew Your Own Magazine, click on the red banner on beerbusterspodcast.com.
Yes, you should definitely do that.
Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum.
I'm brewing it.
So we are drinking a lager right now. Yes, the Vale makes lager. The Vale Brewing Company. This is Numb. I forget what kind of fucking lager it is.
The lagered variety.
It is a 4.4% lager.
That's what kind of lager
That's
it is.
That's literally what it says.
I'll take it.
It was really good. I drank a lot.
Yeah, it was really good, actually, yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't know if it's because of the coffee beer that was in my glass before this. My rinsing was a little bit lackluster.
I think I know what you're going to say, and I'm on the same page.
Well, it has
Can't
like
tell.
it has like a slight like funk to the aroma. Is that what
Oh,
you're gonna
I
say?
was going to go with like an extra sweetness in the
No,
back end.
You would get sweetness. You would, but it's clean. You are not going to get any weird in the... Okay.
No, I don't get any funk in the aroma on mine.
So we're just going to bust through a couple beers from the Vale because I just want to point out that the Vale makes awesome beers that are not hazy IPAs.
Whoa, what is that?
Oh, man. That looks cool.
This is called Never Light.
Are there beets in it?
No, black currants.
Oh.
Yum.
Wow, that is an interesting pour.
So what exactly? What style is it?
This is a black
Goza.
currant goza,
Black
and I
currant
feel
goza.
like it's going to cure Dan's gout.
That would be cherries.
Yeah, but taste it. It tastes like straight juice. It's like alcoholic juice.
It definitely has like a very strong grape thing going
Oh,
on.
we'll get there. We're not at grape yet.
Oh my
No.
god! Do you
Grape
have
is coming
fucking
up.
grape ape? Because I will leave.
No, I told you that it was a grape beer that I think is better than Grape Ape.
You mean any beer in existence?
No, I will stand by it. I freaking love that beer. I don't care what you say.
I've still never tried it.
It's like Diamond Dap for adults.
Yes, Jill, that's the right response.
Every time you talk about it, I just
That beer's freaking delicious. So you can just
I
go.
hate a Diamond Tap.
I love Diamond Tap. So
You would.
Rich even liked their grape beer. He's texting me right now. He wants some. They also have a slushy machine now at the Vale.
Oh, that's cool.
Where they have two of their beers that you can get as a slushy.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this one of them?
No,
This would be
yeah,
good in slushy
actually,
form.
It might have been.
I feel like this would be a
And
good
then
slushy.
the one with
I
like
would
the
slush
orange
this.
and coconut
I
and
would
pineapple
totally
was
slush
the other
this
one.
hard.
Seriously. So have you ever brewed something like this with this amount of fruit in it?
No, it's really hard to keep it clean enough that it's not sour,
Yeah.
and find the right juice or find the right way to add fruit into beer, this is amazing. But it is. I mean, it's like that. It crosses that line between beer and wine.
Yeah.
Or beer and juice.
Beer and juice.
I mean, I assume it's all added post fermentation. I mean, that's.
It would have. I mean, to have that much
I
of
don't
an
see
impact
to
on
have
it.
this much flavor.
Yeah.
It's probably added like right before they package it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no sourness to it at all.
Honestly, had you not said Goza, I don't know that I would have pegged this as a Goza.
Well, do we get saltiness?
No, I don't. That's the thing.
Really. I get something in the aroma that like Goza-like, but yeah, I don't know if I would have picked it out if I didn't know ahead of time. Probably not.
I feel like this beer is not about the Goza style. I feel like it's all about the juice.
Oh, for
It is
sure.
all about the juice, yeah.
So when you were there, did they have any Hornswoggler on? Oh,
No.
that's a shame.
But there was a vegan food truck. I should give them a shout out.
Yes, you should.
I should, but I won't.
Hold on.
I should.
So Richmond has an awesome food truck. I think they've been around for a year now. Go Vegan Go. It's owned by.
Oh yeah, I saw your post about them.
Yeah, it's owned by the drummer from Municipal Waste and his girlfriend. And the food is good, but they're freaking French fries.
Is his girlfriend's name Rural Runoff?
Jesus Christ.
What were they? Thai fries. They were so freaking
Oh, wow.
But yeah, they're in Richmond, and they still play. Municipal Waste just played at the Chameleon Club the other week, so super cool. So this next one is called Blackout Tasty. We're all gonna get a sugar high.
Is that the grape one?
Nope.
Jeez.
Rich is stealing the grape one.
I was going to rinse my glass, but this is like exactly the same color, so I
is.
feel like it's not necessary.
This is, they call it a sour ale with blackberries, black currants, and lactose. And there's like a little tasty
Like ice cream cone, melty
Ice
thingy
cream
going
cone.
on. Because there's lactose in it, I guess.
Oh, that's definitely a beer.
Is it though?
That's much sweeter.
In a loose definition. Yeah, sweeter, not as tart, thicker mouthfeel because of lactose. I don't know, man. I don't think I'm a fan of this one.
I like the last one better.
I like the way the head on this one looks better, though. If that counts for anything.
Appearance is all part of it.
Yeah.
So you were saying it's tough to brew with fruit and keep it kind of like this, more or less.
Mhm.
If you do, say somebody wants to hire you guys as, a private brew event, would you let them get all experimental with weird shit like this, or are you just like, we're going to brew something to style?
So we always guarantee our beers. So if it doesn't come out exactly how we want, we will rebrew it for them.
Oh, wow.
Which is nice because sometimes homebrewing just stuff goes wrong, But with that being said, we will guide them in the right direction. So we won't do anything that I know will definitely cause trouble with the beer.
Right.
So one of early beers that Garrett and I did before we really got our stuff together, we did a Mexican chocolate porter.
Whoa.
What?
Sounds good.
Oh.
So we used.
But wait.
So we used
There's more.
jalapeno, baker's chocolate, and then
Should've
made
used
a porter.
Chipotle's.
So when we first bottled it, it was almost too metallic to drink. So the pepper and the chocolate just had this weird reaction to each other, and it was completely awful. However, we put it in the closet for about a year and forgot about it. We were going to pawn it off on one of our friends. But we forgot about it, and we actually opened up a bottle, and it had mellowed to this perfect chocolate with a little bit of burn, which was what we originally were trying for. So sometimes weird shit happens with homebrewing, and sometimes you just got to give the beer a little bit more time to finish its journey. Because it wasn't ready yet, and that was one of our favorite beers that we ever made.
How many of the 3 S's did that one hit for aging?
One.
Strong? Was it
Well,
strong?
I don't know. Was it
It
strong?
wasn't strong.
Okay. What was
It was dark. That was
Smoky?
it.
And
No.
sour. It was none of those.
No.
Yeah. So
It was a
just
happy
worked out.
accident.
Yeah. Another time we made a Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA clone, and then forgot forgot about it and went on vacation and turned off our air conditioning.
Oh, no.
Yep. So it turned into a farmhouse ale. Yay! So, sometimes you can adapt. But for the most part, we know we've made the mistakes. We've been there. We've done that. So we guide people in a way that they will hopefully not make those mistakes.
Lead them towards success.
So we do guarantee the beers that we make, though.
The nice thing is at the end of the day, it's 5 gallons. Like you think about, Dogfish Head, thinking about the year they had to dump 120 and the money that they were dumping down the drain when they had to dump that batch. Like it's so different when it's on
or Goose Island when they still bottled and sold it and then had to give the money back.
I was about to say, I cry when I think of them dumping 120, but I cry more when I think of them selling the infected Goose Island.
Moment of silence for those people. It's not beer.
It's really not. It's very
juice.
It's very much juicy.
I feel like I shouldn't like this.
Do you like it, though?
It tastes good.
I enjoy
it. It is
drinking
a
this.
good beverage.
No, that's not necessarily.
But is it a good beer?
Yeah.
Like the part of me, it's like this is not beer. This is like, I guess it could be like a mimosa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like you drink
Perfect
champagne and then you add. So it's not a beer. It's a beer cocktail.
It's a beer.
That's what I think it should be categorized.
Would you add champagne to this?
No, I'm saying
Well,
the
no, think of it
beer,
this way.
and then they added all the juice. It's like the champagne that you add the orange juice to.
Like
it
you take
is,
the
it
base-
is the cocktail.
Like the base beer of this is a complete beer. Like it's finished. It's done. It's a beer.
Probably.
And then
But then they throw in
assuming,
the other stuff.
And then they throw fruit in it. So it is. It's like a canned beer cocktail.
It shouldn't be called a beer. It should be called a beer cocktail. Then I would be okay with them. It's just like the
Contact
answer.
your local congressman.
The answer, they make all these. They make fruity, crazy, like
Yeah. Now,
but
some of
it's-
them are
and I'm
really
like,
good.
This tastes good, but I don't think I should think it's good because it's not beer. But if I say it's a beer cocktail,
Okay, well, but to be fair, though, like you're allowed to think something. It doesn't matter if it's technically beer or not. If you enjoy drinking it, you can say it's good. You can argue about whether or not it's beer, but you can't argue about whether or not you think it's good. If you think it's good, you think it's good.
that's a good point.
You know.
I'm excited to get to this grape one.
Yes.
Yeah, hurry up.
Grape.
Rich is taking all of it. Holy shit!
It's not very
Glad
often
that was empty.
that Rich enjoys a beer.
Well, I don't know.
That's
It's been
not
happening more often.
That's true.
I think Steph should be worried.
And it all started with Lime-A-Rita.
Yeah, it did.
Fun fact: Rich has more unique check-ins on Untappd than Joe Man.
Wow, Rich, how many do you have? 31. Oh, so Joe Man just doesn't
He
use
just doesn't
Untappd.
use
Yeah, he's got a lot more than me too.
So what is this beer
Okay.
besides grape?
So in true Vale fashion, it's called Never Never Last Last. It is a 5.1% double Concord grape Goza ale.
Wait, well, the double goes before the grape.
Yes.
Double Concord grape.
I read it
Goes to
exactly the way it is on the label.
ale. Interesting.
And I want to see Dan's reaction.
Okay.
I kind of feel like I've already built this up, though. I shouldn't have said
That's
anything.
because you should have had him blind taste test it to get
Yeah.
the real reaction.
Well, it smells like Welch's.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It smells better than Grape Ape.
The moment of truth.
Oh, yes. It's so fucking good.
I mean, it doesn't taste like beer.
No, it's a beer
It's
cocktail.
juice.
Yeah.
It tastes like grape juice.
Yeah, it's a beer cocktail.
It's alcoholic grape juice.
It
Just like
tastes-
Grape Ape's alcohol is, well,
It tastes
Does
like
Diamond Tap
when
have alcohol?
I was a kid and I wanted
Different, not ethanol though, right? Or is it ethanol?
I wanted my grape juice to be like sparkling, so I added Sprite to it. It
There you
tastes
go.
like fucking Welch's with Sprite.
there's
in it.
nothing wrong with that. Although
really
Welch's
does.
with Sprite would cost less, but
True.
Rich is finishing the can. I don't know. It's fun. I think it's good. Do I
This
think
is
it's
definitely-
beer? I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's definitely the sweetest of the three.
yeah, it is. I wouldn't be able to drink a whole can of it.
Like so if I'm sitting at home like, oh shit, I want a beer, I would not pull this out of my fridge if I said I want a beer. It doesn't taste
Yeah,
like fucking
no,
beer.
no.
If I want a beer that tastes like beer.
Says the man that loves fucking peanut butter
This
chocolate.
is true.
That tastes more like
Okay.
beer than this. I also
Yeah,
appreciate a
but-
good lager, a good pale ale, a good not hazy IPA.
Good pastry stout.
I'm just making points.
But this is just
making points. Just dropping
this is
plates.
what I wanted beer to taste like when I was fucking 12.
Okay.
Wait, what?
You heard me.
You wanted to drink beer when you were 12?
No, I wanted beer to taste okay when I was an adult, and when I was 12, I was like, I hope it tastes like my fucking Welch's with Sprite. I wanted that to be like everything.
If you
can mix this with like a peanut butter flavor, like peanut butter and jelly. That'd be the best.
We have
beer
crunch.
Yeah, you could. I don't. Is there any
Does
left
that
in
work? I have another can. Hold on.
I'm not putting it in mine.
I finished
there? I'll totally do it.
I'll try it. I have a little bit.
Is there any more of it left?
No.
I'm not
Rich
tainting
finished
mine.
it.
Can I steal a sip?
You can.
from
Yeah,
one
you
of
can
you?
try some of
All right,
mine.
thank
Then it's fine. Shit's getting real now.
It tastes like the Welch's sparkling grape juice.
Yeah, that you buy in the bottle
Right,
that
that I
looks
would
like
drink on New
champagne
Year's
or
Eve
whatever.
before
Yeah.
I was 21
Yeah,
with my
exactly.
family.
Exactly.
Who's going on this journey?
I definitely am.
Not Steph, the other.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I mean, it's
Not
good,
me.
but I won't be sad if I ruin the rest of it. So.
I'll start.
Do it.
All right.
Somebody's got to go first. Somebody's got to go down there.
It's like it's a purple and tan.
Purple. It's like a purple and black.
Brown.
Purple and brown.
Oh my god, it smells
Blue
like
and
peanut butter and
yellow,
jelly.
purple.
Oh, no.
It smells like peanut butter and jelly. It's
I'm
amazing.
so upset I finished mine.
I'm trying to get the ratio right.
Where's that can?
That looks pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna take a picture.
The color it turned into.
The head gets weird.
Yeah.
It's just not a phrase.
Well, I can imagine it
to
would.
take out of context, but it does because you get like the
I dig it.
purple gets like swirly.
Thank you.
It's not bad. It's good.
It definitely tastes like beer now.
It does taste more like beer. I may have put too much peanut butter in mine. I may have got my ratios wrong.
think
Can
I
I
got
try?
my ratio
Can I try?
right.
That's good. Oh my god.
Oh, Steph's sharing
Oh, you have
some.
more.
I'm helping your ratio.
Yeah, you definitely had your ratio better than mine.
I
mean, it's all right.
Rich tried. It was his
You know.
idea. Yeah, you got it spot on.
Hey. All right, so that was the Manny on Crunch.
And the veil.
Coming to the
And
rescue.
the veil.
Never last.
Order a purple and brown.
Purple and brown. We're starting a
at
thing.
Bottle share near you.
2 different breweries in 2 different states.
Bottle share near you.
Yeah, pretty much. You can call it purple and brown juice because it's the same initials, PBJ.
Ooh.
That's a great idea.
Wow.
Sipping on that doesn't work though. It's too many
Sipping
syllables.
on purple and brown juice.
Sipping on PB juice.
That works.
That works.
juice.
That works. Sounds wrong.
You have one more.
One more.
Okay.
So this is from Maniunk. So it's a dry hop sour. So this was fun. We used it for our yoga and beer mosa class. So we had a beer mosa bar, so 4 different juices, 2 different beers. So we had the St. Ben Wit and then this beer. And you could make your own mimosas after doing an hour-long yoga class.
Nice.
That's cool.
You can pass it around.
You could have had PB and juice.
We didn't even know. That was
Now you know. Next time. SRP number 4. This is.
I guess we should also mention that we pitched the yeast on the beer.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
My
officially-
We
it's
talked about that, but that was
officially-
on Instagram.
It's officially turning into a beer.
Yep. It is not considered beer until you add the yeast to it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fact. Before that, it's just wort. What did they
So-
say? People make wort.
Yeast makes the beer.
It's very true. So something I like to do with the wort while you're brewing, especially if you do a darker beer like a amber or Belgian beer stout, take a little bit of the wort and then add whiskey to it and drink it.
Interesting.
That's my favorite thing.
Well, I've always learned that you should
Hi.
you should drink
Dan
your
is
beer
impressed
throughout.
by that
Who's
idea.
got the whiskey?
That's a bad idea. You did not Uber here tonight.
Or it wouldn't be hard to Uber home and then just come back and get your car tomorrow.
This is nice.
Yeah, it is.
I like it. It's
This
not
would
like-
go well with orange juice or grapefruit juice.
We had orange,
Pineapple
grapefruit.
juice.
We had you're naming all of the juices. And then we had peach as well.
Stop! You're naming juices.
We had 4 different juices and you named 3 of the 4.
Wait.
Would have been so
What's the fourth?
grapefruit, pineapple, what was orange juice.
No.
Said it.
You said tomato.
She wasn't paying attention.
Now you've lost the plot. She said it.
Hold on,
did.
stop. Orange, pineapple, tangerine. No.
Mango, passion fruit.
Mango.
Nope.
That would be
Nope.
good.
Mango would have been good, but it wasn't.
Orange,
Banana.
pineapple,
Banana juice.
grapefruit.
Ew.
Now I'm
Can
off.
you juice
I'm
a
all-
banana?
I'm all off.
I'm guessing it was
Can you
more of a
juice a
puree.
banana?
You can buy. You can buy orange banana juice.
You can.
You can.
And
But can you,
strawberry.
buy, can you buy banana juice?
I don't know. I'll let you
I've
know.
never
I think it
seen
was more of
banana
a
juice.
puree than a juice that you had, based on the flavor. But I don't know.
It was peach.
Peach.
Ooh, that's yummy.
Peach is really good with this.
I can imagine, yeah.
So, if you would like to learn more about Homebrewed events, you can go to homebrewedevents.com or email them at events@homebrewedevents.com. They're also on all the socials. And of course, you should go to St. Ben because all... because all the peeps are making some great beers. Andrew, Josh, and Meredith, of course. And you should support Evil Genius, I guess, too. Even though Garrett was unable to make it, we nonetheless still love Meredith's lesser half, but still a good dresser.
Thank you.
Still a good. He can't pull off pearls and red lipstick, but we still like him. So
that's true. All
the goodness that is Northern Liberties, Kensington, and Fishtown. I got them all. She's nodding, so it's good. Did good.
And of course, while you're on the internet, you can, of course, find Beer Busters at Beer Busters.
Are you ever not on the internet? I mean,
everybody, you're always connected.
Considering,
at this point. At Beer Busters, Twitter and Instagram, Beer Busters Podcast on the Facebook.
Add us, bro.
805-991-BEER, 805-991-2337, and the almighty Patreon.com/Beer Busters. And you know what? Go ahead. You had a thing you were going to say, too.
So Patreon just added, this is a little behind the scenes,
we could have Patreon lived.
We should have. Yeah, the lens or whatever. But they just added a new organization system for sending rewards and stuff to patrons.
Oh, cool.
Which would make it easier for us to give stuff to you. So maybe we'll give you more stuff soon.
Stay tuned.
Just an idea.
And while you're out there online too,
I'm
beerbusterspodcast.com.
on Patreon right now.
Right now.
Yes.
It's like
right now. It's happening.
Wow.
It's like wow. It's like right now.
If you've enjoyed this adventure, why not reach down?
All right, it's replaying.
Yeah, it is. This is Podcastception into your device and click that 5-star or whatever.
Yeah.
7 bananas or 8 bottle caps, whatever the rating system your podcast platform of choice implores.
And tell your friends, and tell your internet friends, and tell the trolls too.
Yeah. The ending of this podcast is getting too long.
Oh, shush.
Yeah. It's kind of our thing. It's what
it is. It is. Yeah. No. Seriously.
If you've listened this long,
if you can put a rating out there on your podcast app of choice, because more ratings means algorithms put our podcast up higher in the rankings, which means more people might listen, which means we might be able to bring you more diverse content with breweries that are possibly outside our immediate geographical location. And
AKA pay for us to get a helicopter.
Yes.
Oh, and
suddenly you're on board with the helicopter.
Hey, after sitting in traffic on the way down to Richmond, I am totally on board with getting the Beer Busters helicopter.
Wow.
Everybody can
when
use a helicopter.
I'm in traffic, it's too expensive. When you're in traffic, it's like, shit, we need a helicopter.
Well, Internet, thanks for listening to this episode of Beer Busters.
Wait, I have one more. Listen. Recycle, spay and neuter your pets, and vaccinate your kids.
And go LARPing.
We're getting started LARPing Beer Fest.
Yes. And I'm going to learn what that is.
Beer Buster.
Can I dress up like Darth Maul for this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right.
Crossover episode.
Well, that brings us to the end.
Thank God.
Of another episode of Beer Busters. And seriously, this was a lot of fun. Meredith, thank you so much for having us out here to do this. It was so great.
Thank you, guys. And I'm excited. I will share the beer with you when it's ready.
I would hope so.
I can't wait.
Yeah, of course. No, you don't get the beer.
Oh, man. And Jill, thank you for stepping up and playing the game with us and helping out and bringing the beer that we're going to have in last call. Yes.
I'm so
Stick
excited.
around for last call. We'll be drinking number 10.
Yes, this is going to be very exciting. But I am Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and, of course, the demented and fermented
Wayne the Baker.
No squids were harmed in the making of this particular episode.
But maybe some blueberries.
We'll see you next time.
Sipping on PB and juice.
And thick banana sauce.